right, well, if you're here watching this, I have a dream to share with you. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I've spread my dreams beneath your feet. Tread softly, for you tread on my dreams. W.B. Yeats. I'm well read. I'm intelligent. I'm brilliant! I have been making stuff on the internet for years now, and
Uncle Sam doesn't put up with unpatriotic teenagers like this one right here. Justice.
I just follow my interests and my passions and my curiosities, and I'll always do that, and it's been so fun. And it has evolved into this show, this vaguely named show, so that I could have this space to just explore more and explore my ideas and passions and interests and bring on people that I want to talk to. And the past year of the show has been so insane, so crazy. It's been amazing to have people on the show and people come in person, to have a house concert, to have, you know, a doctor of evolutionary psychology come over, to have, you know, Jenna and Beth from Blessed Is She, to have Johnny, Ali, and Nick coming over more frequently, and us just having a space to be creative. And I've branched out into other podcasts, the Catholic Youth Ministry podcast, and making videos on YouTube and those types of things. But I've always had this dream, and anytime I drive around Grapevine, the city I live in, and I see a sign that says for rent, office space for rent or for lease, I always call. And it's because I've always had this dream of having a space where my friends who are creative and do creative work could kind of all share, and a space to bring people to that's other than my home, you know? And anytime I'd see a for lease sign, I would call and maybe get a tour and just take some steps in that direction until a door was closed, and just see, you know, what the rent was or what the space was like. And because I always had this dream of, what if we had our own space for this? What if we could have this collaborative co-work / creative studio space to help other Catholic creatives or creatives share stuff with the world. And it's been great having people over, but we're kind of reaching our limit of the number of people we can have park on our street and the number of people we want kind of coming into our home that we don't know. Also, you know, I have all this equipment and gear and knowledge about how to produce a video-based podcast or produce video content for people. But it's all in my home here. And so we have a team of people that work on these things, work on the video editing and the production and those types of things, but we're kind of limited by the number of people we can help. We're limited by my house, like, welcome, you know, having people come into my house. We homeschool, and we have our 5 kids at home running around screaming. It's not great, you know, to film and for people to work. So now there's this opportunity down the street of this small building. I drove past this house, saw a sign, called, you know, texted some with the landlord. They actually own an MMA gym right next door to this building. They own the whole lot, and they own this small house. I mean, it's like a 900 to 1,000 square foot house with 4 main rooms, and asked about the rent. The rent was pretty reasonable, and started doing some math and thinking about the possibility of me and maybe a few other people to go in on this space. It's been hard finding people to commit to the space, but, you know, the wheels kept turning. Like, what if we could get into this space? We would be able to help other people with podcasts. We'd be able to offer that as a service and have that kind of as its own service business kind of grow. We'd be able to have the equipment always set up in a studio. We'd be able to host different types of events at this place. We'd be able to have meetings and have meetups. We'd be able to have pop-up shops. The possibilities are really exciting for a space like this. And you know, some of the people that are partnering with us on the show and the Catholic Youth Ministry podcast are excited about moving to a location that's not this, like a dining room that I've converted into a studio. And so obviously, if we're starting this up, I would love for, from day one, this to be self-sufficient. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if I can get enough people to share the monthly rent with me. And so one of the options for helping fund this, just to get us off the ground and to make us feel a little more secure taking this leap, is to ask you all for support, to ask you to consider supporting on Patreon monthly. It's not easy asking for Patreon supporters. It feels weird. I feel weird about it, but the more I've talked to others, the more I've shared this dream, this vision for this space and the potential for this space, I've heard time and time again that I should offer that opportunity for people to partner with us, for people to invest in this idea and to journey with us on this. This is a crazy dream, and I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if we can do this. But there's part of me deep down that thinks we can. And if you could consider supporting and partnering with us on this, it would mean the world. It would just mean for us that we feel a little more confident the first 6 to 12 months that we try to get this up and running. It would help us cover the rent and know that we're not gonna have to leave the space. It would help us feel a little more secure getting up and running. And it would just mean the world to not do this alone. So it's January 11th, Saturday, 7:37 p.m. And I am trying to make this decision in the next 2 days. If we decide to do this, we're gonna share this journey of us trying to make this space. We're gonna vlog this for sure. And we're gonna be sharing a lot of updates of this journey of making this co-work creative studio thing viable and seeing if we can get it off the ground. It would mean the world to me if you decided to partner with us on this and support this monthly. In total, covering the rent and utilities of this space, we're looking to raise $2,000 a month, so $2,000 a month. If we're able to get that, we won't have to stress as much about getting 2 to 3 people to partner with us on the rent, and that will give us some runway to build up a client base of people that we're serving and helping with their podcasts. It would help us have some runway to get the whole thing off the ground, to figure out how we can make this financially viable. Thank you so much for following along, and yeah, I hope in the next couple days I can share with you the beginning. Like, this is the beginning, but the next step in this journey of creating this creative studio space where these podcasts and these shows and these creative energies could all live and people could come together in this physical space. It would be so amazing. So continue to pray for us and these next steps. And I thank you so much for just watching this, and yeah, for your attention throughout however long you've heard of me or followed along. So hard asking for people to support you on Patreon. Like, who doesn't have a Patreon? Who isn't asking for stuff like this? It's hard. This is hard. I just hope we can do this. This would be so cool. Thank you. Thank you for putting up with me. Thanks. You can support this thing that we're trying to do on Patreon at patreon.com/theshow. Thank you so much for just watching to the end of this video. To be honest, right? Here's to you. Thank you. Oh, brother.